Hi there. My name is Betsy, and welcome to Betselina Stitches. This is a channel about cross stitch and often other crafts. But today we're here to look at all of my works in progress from 2025. Um, and Yeah, I think there may be some progress from the last couple days. I'm filming this on January 3rd, but I believe everything was started before January. Um, so yeah, it's just um, a little bit about stats because if you're coming back here, I'm a data nerd and Um, I love to look at all of the different stats and tracking and all of the things. Um, so, just to introduce myself, my name is Betsy, and if you're new here, just to tell you a little bit about me, I am stitching in Washington, D.C. I am uh, a cisgender woman in my 40s, and I am living in a house with my partner and my three cats, which occasionally will appear on camera when they want attention. Um, and I work in a nonprofit doing data and research. So I'm a big data nerd. So getting back to the data, um, just looking over the year, I created this little chart. So I started a lot of projects this year. I started 52 projects and I completed 22 projects. I have 47 WIPs still in progress. Uh, but I think all 8 of those are not cross stitch. So I think we're looking at 39 projects today. And I stitched 84,035 stitches in 2025. So that's a new one. I hadn't been tracking the number of stitches before this year. So that's exciting. But yeah, this is going to be a WIP parade. So if you are coming here for that reason, that's who I am. I stitch a variety of things. Um, and yeah, so I think I'm going to do this in alphabetical order just so that I've done it in time order before, but it seems like if I do that, then you see a lot of what I started working on when I was very new to cross stitch, um, and then it's more interesting towards the end, or maybe not. I don't know, but I just thought I'd try it this way. So there's sort of a mix of old and new projects based on where they sit in the alphabet. So let's get started. Um, so the alphabet, this is technically starts with a number in my Notion tracker, which is how I track um, my stitches. But this is the 2025 night sky temperature chart, which I am very behind on. So it's still amazing. But this was started um, this was started January 22nd, 2025. And um, I am going to be putting out how I track my temperature cross stitch video soon. So take Um, keep a lookout for that. As you can see, I'm like not yet through June. It goes all the way around the earth. Um, and this is on a 28 count black even weave. I think it's a Modena or Monaco. That's what it is. It's a 28 count black Monaco. And I'm using DMC, and it's 2/2. Um, and as you can see, this one has both crosses, but also quite a bit of backstitch to create the different um, constellations. So that's that one. And I will try to mention um, if I have a project bag, um, but most of my things are in Amazon project bags, so they're not very interesting. And that one is 57.6% complete, although because it's there's a lot of backstitch and Pattern Keeper only tracks the cross stitches. That's no, it's it may or may not be close to the truth because there is a lot of backstitch. Um, so, but it sounds about right. I'm like not quite halfway through with the temperatures, but I did do that full coverage earth in the middle. So 57% sounds about right. The next thing is something that actually starts with A. Um, this piece is Anne Frank by Gera, which is by Kyoko Maruoka. Um, and this is how far I am. I started this on March 8th of this year, and I am almost 30% through it. This is on a 32 count Aquarius linen by Stitch Me. Um, and I'm using the called for DMC. Is that one. Also not an exciting project bag. Um, next in the alphabet, we have Ars Robotica by Ink Circles. This was a leap year start, so I started it February 29th, 2024, and the goal is to finish it by February 29th, 2028. Um, it is pretty cool. I really enjoy this one. It's only 3 colors. There's sort of the gray that you see most everything in, and then there some accents in red, and um, then there's like this white color, the cream color that's filling in. So this is actually only 37% complete, probably because I have a lot of stuff that I need to fill in with that cream color. Um, it's on the called for 30 count Aspen linen. Um, and it uses Gentle Arts thread. Um, 2/2. So that's that one. I'm hoping to get to 50% complete by February 28th of this year so that I'm on track. Um, I also have put this in uh, my Milestone Manor game, which is a new game from Jessie Marie Destep, who's the creator of WIPCO. And so some of the roles in that game are like um, more than 1,000 stitches, so I could end up going past my goal of getting to 50% if I end up in that room. So that's that one. Um, and then next in the alphabet is Brambling Hill. This is by the Artsy Housewife. And this was a project I started at PNWIS, which is the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit in Portland, Oregon, run by the shop Acorns and Threads. Um, it looks like a very sad start, but this is actually 650 stitches. Um, so I am about 5% complete, and I started this on September 13th of this year. Um, I'm not sure what the fabric is because we got all of the kit fabric and floss, and I know that the floss is Weeks Dye Works, which I don't normally buy, but if it comes in a kit or something, then I will use it. So there's that one. And that one actually lives in this bag. This was made for me by Erin from the Hathaway Stitchers or Cozy Town Stitches on Instagram. I'm pretty sure she doesn't sell these, but she made them as table gifts for our table at Pinwis. Um, and it's super cutesy. It's like weird pumpkins and skulls and but still like cutesy, so super enjoyed that. um that's two things I like, cutesy and spooky. So there's that one. I'm doing that one 2/2 as well. um I believe Gigi had models that were both one strand and two strands. Um, and this might be a 36 count or something where you could do either. Um, but I'm only just now getting into like one thread stitching, which we'll see a little bit later. But the next thing that is a work in progress is Butterfly Dreams by Barbara Anna Designs. And this is where I am with that one. I love her designs. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a part in the hair. It's supposed to be 939 or some color that's like a very dark blue. Um, but I accidentally, because I couldn't see it in my lamp, used 310, so I have to pull out some of the hair and fix it. Um, but yeah, I love this one. And I started it on October 11th of this year. Um, and this is on a 20 count um, gray ombre uh, Ada from the sewing shop, which I believe is Kaylee Tenstitch, the same person. And it's using GMC 1/1. So dainty little stitches. Um, yeah, and for that one, I am 37% complete. So um, it's not very big. So hopefully I can um, get that one complete at some point. I'm sure that's what I'll say about all of these. Um, so next in the alphabet is Christmas Bear Ornament. This is by Stacy Nash, and it was part of the Jingle Ball Baubles book for 2024. Um, and you'll start to see as we move further into my WIP Parade that I have a lot of unfinished Christmas ornaments because I had a WIP Go board that was all ornaments last year. So the majority of those were new starts. It's my 52 starts in 2025. But yeah, this is how much I have done. I started it on April 22nd of 2025. It's on a 16 count Navy Ada, and it uses, I think it was charted in Fancy Floss. And so I just used what I had in Stash. And so some of it is CNC and some of it is Fancy Floss, but not the called for necessarily. Um, that's that one. And it is 19% complete. Um, then we have Christmas Deer Wreath. Um, I think this is the correct direction. Um, but this is by Smart Cross Stitch. I believe this was a freebie that I found from Cross Stitch the Globe's freebie Christmas ornaments episode. Um, and it's basically just a one color design. And it is just this border, and then there's a deer in the middle. So I'm almost done with the border, and then the deer. This is on 32 count Gold Rush Lugana by V Stitch Me. Um, I started it on June 18th, 2025, and I'm estimating that I'm about 30% complete. I think this was one where it didn't read the symbols in Pattern Keeper, and so for those, usually just to keep my progress, I make like an estimate based on the area and how much I feel like is complete in the area, or full of stitches. But yeah, and this is 2/2 in one strand, or sorry, in two strands of DMC. Um, then one more that starts with the word Christmas in this pile. This is Christmas Holiday Sampler. Um, and again, this is a freebie, I think, from that Cross Stitch the Globe freebies episode. Um, and I like this because it's like very soothing, but also it's not exactly symmetrical slash like not everything is spaced exactly the same apart. The trees are different heights. Um, but this is by the designer's name is Joanne Aston, and this was like an anchor pattern. Um, so it originally called for anchor floss, but I converted it to DMC. Um, I think I said I started this June 5th. Um, and this is another one where I estimated the stitch count, but I think I'm about 35% complete. Um, so that's Christmas Holiday Sampler. And I just like sewed on some holiday fabric because I couldn't fit it in the hoop I was using. This is the fabric is from a bit bag from Mystic Fabrics, so it's I think maybe it's 32 count even weave, but I'm not sure because it was kind of just a pile of fabric that was about this size. And I'm pretty sure I it's definitely even weave, so I must have requested even weave, but I don't know exactly what the colors are or anything. So that's that one. Um, and next we have uh, one of my older whips. This is Crocus in a Pot by Tiny Cross Stitches on Etsy. I started this on February 20th, 2024, and this is going to be a gift for someone. But it is basically full coverage, no background. So I am pretty almost done with the flowers, and then the pot is all um, like variations on this like tan orange color. So hopefully I'll get into that soon. It's on the 16 count white Ada, and this is 64% complete. Um, and I'm using DMC. Okay, so that was my first several projects. I'm going to grab another pile and I'll be right back. Okay, on to the next stack. Um, so the next thing in my list is Dead Inside But Still Festive by the Witchy Stitcher. This is how much I have completed. That's correct. The um so a start, not too big of a start. I started this on July 21st, 2025. Um, and the last time I worked on it was in July of 2025. This is on the same 32 count Lugana and Gold Rush by Stitch Me. And the thread is DMC, although what you're seeing is just only 310. There are a few other colors, as you'll see in the preview. Um, the next one is the Delft sampler. This is by Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. I got this as a dropping a needle minder. I got this as a paper pattern from eBay, but you'll see it's very detailed and the back stitch makes all the difference. So some of the things I didn't even know what they were until I put the back stitch in. But I have Dutch Indonesian heritage, and so this was sort of a nod to the Dutch Delft tiles that I always saw in my childhood. Um, Not that I lived in Holland, but we just had them because of the Dutch heritage. Um, and I started this September 1st of 2024. Um, it says that I'm like 24.2% complete, but that's a little misleading because I'm not sure if I'm going to just do like there's 5 tiles, I think. Just do the 5 tiles here, or I'm going to like do some I know I'm not going to do the middle as charted, so I'm not sure if I want to do just like a smaller piece that's just a part of the chart, or I want to like shorten it by removing the middle, or I want to chart something else there. So I haven't decided that. I decided I was going to get through this row of tiles and then make that decision. It is very like work intensive because you know it's work intensive because of the backstitch. Um, this is on a 32 count white alma that I got from a D stash. I'm sort of unfamiliar with this fabric, but it is it's like similar to linen, but I think maybe it has a different fiber content. But it does have like slubs and unevenness in the even weave. Um, and it's like a really shiny, bright white, which maybe isn't as clear here because of like dusty and Um, so yeah, and this is in DMC, and I am doing it. Um, I think I decided I did it called for 3 strands, but I was not that into doing 3 strands. So I just kept the frames strands to make them a little dimensional, and then I made everything else 2/2. Um, so that's the Delft sampler. Next we have the Extraordinary Birds Stitch Along by Lola Crow Designs. Um, this ended this year, I think in September, but as you can see, I am not done. Um, but making a lot of progress. Oh, I'm showing you the back. Well, now you know what my back looks like. Um, but to like get up close a little bit, it has a lot of different birds. The most recent ones I did were the toucan and the like shoe bill or shoehorn bill or whatever in that corner. Um, but this is really fun to work on. I really like Lola Crow's designs. Um, and so I'm continuing to work on this, but it's obviously not in time with the stitch along. This is on the called for fabric, which is Sandbar by Bestitch Me, and this is a 36 count linen. I started this April 4th of 2025, probably when the first drop came out, and this is all in the called for DMC. Um, it's 36 count, and I'm doing 2/2. Um, so, and it looks like I just have to finish the back stitch for um, that particular drop, um, and then I will be ready to move on to the next one. It says it's 90% complete, but that's just because I don't add the new stitch counts until I add the new drop to my pattern keeper. Um, so I would say it might be halfway done. Um, I know like the frame itself was a lot of stitches, and I'm maybe on like the 6th or 7th drop out of like 12. So, um, more to come on that one. Um, and then, oh, and that one I'm keeping in a bag by Kaylee Tent Stitch, which is one of my favorites. Um, she does these bags that are like wider. They have this like upholstery strip. So I always put way too many things, and then it's a phoenix theme, so I really liked that phoenix. And then the front is no vinyl front. Let's see. Then my most recent start is Fairytale, which is by Dragon Muse and charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Some of my buddies from XStitch Monopoly are doing the stitch along together, so we've all been working on that. But yeah, this is tiny stitches. And I've done, I think it came out maybe on the 27th. It was supposed to be the first of the year, but they sent it early. And I have almost 1.9% done. So it fits on this fat quarter, but I think it's like there's 2 pages across or 3 pages across, and I'm almost to the end of the first page. Width wise, the pages are 80 by 100. And yeah, this is on a 25 count easy grid Lugana, and I'm doing this 1/1 full cross. So this is my first like full coverage. I have a lot of things that are like full coverage, no background, but like I decided to do before I understood like what kinds of patterns existed in the world. Like the Crocus is full coverage, no background, and some of my finishes from last year were the same. My audio is doing something funny, so I'll be right back. Okay, hopefully that fixed it. We'll see. But I just talked about Fairytale. I'm using DMC, by the way, and it's 1/1 full cross. I think I said that. The next thing I'm working on is the Free Palestine letter by Modern Folk Embroidery. It's really fun to work on. I have never done a Modern Folk Embroidery before. And this is, see if I said what the fabric was. Okay, it's a 30 count portobello linen, but I don't know from where. It's kind of a scratchier one, stiffer one. And I'm using silky thread on this. That's new for me. I don't know if you're familiar with silky, but it's supposed to be like one strand is about the same as 1.5 or 2 strands of DMC. So I'm just using one strand to 1/2. So that's that one, and I am 13% complete. Then another one that I started at Pinless is when I had been meaning to start. I think it was a WIP Go call for September. Is Frog and Toad, Your Best Friend. So because I like to work top down, I mostly started on the letters, and then I like started moving down so I could get to a frog or a toad or whatever it is. but Frog and Toad was the first book I read myself as a child, and so when I saw this, I was pretty excited about it. Um, but it took me a while to get it started, so that's that one. And it is, I started it September 12th, 2025, so that was when I was at Fitness. It's on a 36 count willow linen by XStitch Me, and I'm about 5% complete. So you'll see it in the image, but the top part, is like words, so it's not that many stitches, but then it gets like more, there's a lot more dense stitches towards the frog and toad part of it. And I'm using DMC. So that is that one. Next we have Gay Agenda by X Cross Stitch Pattern X. I started this on May 22nd, 2024. And this is how far I am. I have been doing color completing, so I did all of the black, and then I just finished the yellow. So next is orange. And this was a WIP call for this month, so I'll definitely be putting some stitches in January. Okay, and then next we have one that many people have done, which is Halloween at Hawkron Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. Obviously, I have kind of a pitiful start, but there we are. I have block 1 outlined in a little bat. This is on my WIP Go board, so eventually I'll do at least some more stitches on it. I started this on November 1st, 2025. And November was the last time I worked on it. This is on 40 count linen, Verdal, which is an even weave, and Not Another Sampler by XStitch Me. So it's a nice like orangey neutral. And I'm using DMC. Okay. Another one people are probably familiar with. The next one that I worked on, or the next one that is in the alphabet, is Halloween Quaker. By Lila Studio or Lila Studio, I never know which is which, but I started this on June 11th, 2025. The last time I worked on it was Halloween. And I'm starting in the top left corner, so I'm just working on this motif. This is on a 20 count opal Ada in Paranormal by XStitch Me. So a really pretty sparkly fabric. And I'm 4.1% into the stitching. This uses mostly fancy floss, but I think there's one or two that I kept as DMC. It's either like one of the blacks or a color that's like ecru or something there's no variegation, and like I didn't see the point of making it a fancy floss. So yeah, so that's that one. Next in the alphabet, we have a couple more Christmas things. So first is Krampus. Oh, sorry, this one. Krampus by Lola Crow. This is part of her Christmas Monsters Ornament series. So there are 4 of these. The next one is also one of these. But that's Krampus. These are on 28 count black Monaco, just like night sky temperature chart is. I started this one on August 4th, 2025. And it uses DMC 2/2. This one is 43.2% complete. And then the next one is also from this series, the Christmas Monster series. This is called La Befana. And it has like a little bit of backstitch, but I am almost 84% done with the stitches. This one I started September 25th, 2025. And one of the things I'm doing in Mouse and Manor is one of the rooms is Christmas ornaments in the order, like in order of least amount to finish. So this one was the closest to a finish. And I did like about 400 stitches yesterday. So I think I have 160 stitches left plus the back stitch on this one. And again, this is on 28 count black Monaco in DMC 2/2. And that is that one. So this next one is in a project bag by the pop-up stitcher Emily, who is a lovely person. We met in person at the Culpeper, like Northern Virginia Stitcher group. And I think this one was a like you pick whatever project bag to send me, but I do like it. It's this like pretty teal color with like the flowers inside and a vinyl front. And what is in that one is Labrador Puppy by Jenny Barton. This is from the Cross Stitch Gold Animals magazine. And this is how far I am. Looks a little weird right now. But and if I get closer, you can see I put in most of the clouds that are very light colored. But yeah, this is on a 32 count white Alma. And I'm about, again, I think I might have guessed on this, although it is almost full coverage, like just other than where there are no clouds. So I think I'm about 15% complete. I started this on April 4th, 2025. This one I have a hard time working on because it was from a magazine that I got off of Libby, the library app. And so I tried to like take a screenshot and put it into Pattern Keeper or something like that, but it just does not work out very well. And so I have like a pattern keeper version that I use to like mark off stitches just so that I have like some idea of what I've been doing. Then I actually have to look at it on Libby on my Kindle, um, to be able to see it very well, because the screenshot or whatever I took is like, when you zoom in, it's all blurry and hard to read. So I have to look at it on like an actual reader app to see. Um, but I am enjoying it. It's for a gift. But of course, I like chose something for a gift that is um, super complicated and um, yeah. But I am excited. It's kind of like it has different things. I don't know if you're familiar with Dimensions Kits, it has a similar um, way those things are set out. Like some of the threads are in two threads, some of them are in one threads. There are some stitches that are only half stitches. And so it creates like a kind of dimensionality to the stitches when it's complete. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. My my hope is to like get some really good progress on the dog, and then the rest of it will be less daunting, um, because it's a lot of like grass and flowers and things that I feel like are like not as many like 18 colors of gray or black. Um, so, but it's a lot of colors and a lot of like making sure you're doing the right number of threads, and yeah. So, so that's Labrador Puppy. And then I think last before I put some stuff away, um, is another ornament from that Lola Crow Christmas Monsters series. And this is Mari the Wid. Um, this is all I have of this, like, um, it's like the horse head on a stick riding horse toy, kind of, except it's scary. So I got in like the horse's mane and part of its skull. And yeah, so that is also on 28 count Black Monica. Um, and it's by Lola Crow Designs. I started this one on September 28th, 2025, and I haven't worked on it since that month. Um, and it looks like I am about 11% complete. 148 stitches have been done. Um, so so that is that stack. I am going to pause and get my other things together. Um, and I will be right back. Okay. Well, I am back. The next pattern in my list is the Nostalgic Tarot by the Witchy Stitcher. This project is like a blanket. um, this is where I am, but it will take up like basically the entire piece of fabric. It's currently covered in cat hair, um, because the black fabric definitely captures so much. Um, but yeah, I started this October 10th, 2024, and I worked on the frame a little bit, and then I completed the priestess, cute little kitty priestess. Um, and more recently, I started working on the fool. Um, so I completed that bit in either November or December. Um, and I'm kind of chugging along. I did give this a place in Milestone Manor, so hopefully there'll be some progress. I made it in a place that I have to go back to, the stairs. So if you know about Milestone Manor, um, if you want to go between floors, you have to go through the stairs. So hopefully this will get a lot more stitches in it. But I definitely know it's like a long-term project. I forget how many cards are in a major arcana, but it's all of the major arcana. And they've all been released now. So that's exciting. I joined her Patreon like specifically because of seeing some of these patterns and just really liking the like Lisa Frankness of them all. So this is with DMC 2/2, and I am using a 16 count black Ada, I think. So yeah, long-term progress. There is someone who completed them all already. I think it's Cross Stitch in Cambria, a guy on Instagram. He might also have a YouTube, I'm not sure. But there's a great photo showing like all of it, but then also him like running around with it like a flag because it's a giant project and it is the size of a flag. um, but yeah, so that's that one. Um, I have no idea how complete I am. It looks like I might be. It says 61.5%, but I know that that's not correct. So maybe that's how much of the frame I would have done if I included the stitches on the High Priestess. Yeah, it's a giant project. Um, so we'll see. um, the next project I have is a memorial piece for my first kitty, Otis. This is kind of what he looked like. I cobbled together some patterns from Etsy by Lifted Spirit Patterns because, like, while this type of cat exists, their patterns were like all tabby or all one color. So I sort of use the orange tabby part and then the white cat, and I sort of just made it how his markings were. Um, so I started this March 14th, 2025, and it was for a memorial stitch along. I'm forgetting the person's name now, but they were doing a cat that had passed away as well. I mean, theirs is more like it's just a pattern that has a cat in it. I think it's Satsuma Street. I don't know if it's like specifically their cat, but yeah. So this gave me some processing, and I started this March 14th, 2025, and I haven't worked on it since March. Um, so you'll see in some of the photos, but there's like a little banner that goes to the bottom and some like foliage. But I kind of like finished with the cat and then lost steam. So that's that one. This is in my Notion as Otis Memorial Sampler or Otis Memorial Piece because the the Etsy pattern name does not describe what it is to me. Um, this is on a 16 count Navy Ada, and I'm using DMC 2/2. And an estimate for how done it is 61%, but the patterns had different banners, so I'm not sure like which pattern that is. But yeah, that will be coming out again. The next one I have is Peace on Earth by Hands On Design. This is another ornament from the 2024 Jingle Ball Baubles book. On a 16 count Navy Ada. I started it on April 13th, 2025. And a guesstimate is that I'm 29% complete. Again, this was one where Pattern Keeper didn't really like it, so you can like see it, but it's not recognizing the symbols. And this is using DMC, I believe. Um, yeah, I think it's all DMC. I sometimes like if it was charted in Fancy Floss, I'll sub other ones, but I think this one was charted in DMC. That's that one. And then we have Santa Over Toronto by Lindy Stitches. Santa's riding a Canadian goose. But you can only see the goose's head right now in Santa. I started this in May 24th of 2025. This is on a 32 count hemp linen from Jackson Fiber Art. I don't know what the name is. I think I put it in my tracker as Stormy. And this is using DMC. I think maybe the goose has fancy floss, but I didn't have that particular one, so I may choose a different one. And this is approximately 25% complete. And a lot of these ornaments I'm also keeping in this project bag that I got from the pop-up stitcher, Emily. And I really just love this fabric. It is both the red and the green are, I think, the same fabric, but just in a different colorway. But oh, pretty cool. Vinyl front and nice inside. These ones stand up really well. I can't like all the different kinds of project bags have different pluses and minuses, so I'm not sure which one is my favorite, but I like this one. So Santa, this one is so Santa Over Toronto was also from the 2024 Jingle Ball Baubles book, as is this one, which is Santa Wreath by Teresa Kogut. And this one I'm doing 1/1, but I don't know what count this fabric is or anything. I think it's a vintage country mocha because it's definitely printed on one side. But I don't know what count it is. Like it might be 25. But it could also be like 20 or something. I don't know. So a really nice pattern. I'm looking forward to finishing it. And I started that one on, this was one of the last ones on my ornaments with go board. So I started on December 11th of 2025, and I'm 17.2% complete. But I think this is an estimate also. So that's that one. And I am using DMC, I think. Doesn't say, but I'm pretty sure it's DMC. Um, then next in the alphabet, we have my strawberry spot sampler, which is actually like two finishes in a whip, kind of. So the idea was just for Marjorie May's strawberry moon cell to just like find different patterns with strawberries and put different items in different places. So this one is Barbara Anna Strawberry Dreams, and I think this one is called like Mini Cat in Summer by everythingiscrossstitch.com, and then this one is from Tiny Cross Stitches on Etsy. Um, and this is, I want to say it's called Moss Lugana, and it's 25 count, and I'm doing 1/1. And so far, I think it's all DMC. Um, so I haven't really gotten back to that recently. I don't even, maybe I worked on it in June, but not like extensively. I acquired more strawberry related patterns, but I don't think I included any of them. Um, so that one I started June 12th, 2024. And yeah, it says 25 count Masugana from Medis Dash, basically. Oh, and it wasn't everythingiscrossstitch.com, it was happinessiscrossstitching.com. Um, the next one is when I started it, I think it was Spring Mingle. The theme makes sense. But this is a Biscornu, or not a Biscornu, it's like a cube from Hands On Design, and it's called This Bee's Got Knees. And I have kind of a pitiful start on it. I started this May 2nd, 2025, and I'm using DMC. And I know that this is like a, I don't know, mushroom Lugana or something like that. I thought it was a good choice, and then I went to the class, and she said that like a like a linen or an Ada will fold better. Um, like it will hold the fold better when you're trying to put it together, and so she would recommend using a linen. Um, so we'll see. I also have a like a Joblin or something for a different Biscornu that I bought, and I didn't realize that might be a problem. Um, so maybe I'll finish this one before I decide if that one should be replaced with linen. Um, but I have 182 stitches done, which I'm estimating is about 6%. And yeah, I worked on it one day because I had so many other things going that I was interested in that I kind of just like worked on it during Spring Mingle, and then I went on to other things. So hopefully that one comes back out. I do want to say I think I touched every WIP this year, so all of the like 52 that I started, plus everything that was still a WIP from last year. Um, this next one is called This Juneteenth Day by Shaded Stitchery. And this is how far I am. Um, I really love this pattern. I think it was a WIP call for this month actually, so I will be getting this out again. I started this on June 19th of 2024, and I am about 29.5% complete. Um, and I do not know what this linen is, but it's a linen in a natural color, and I want to say like it might be a 32 count. I'm not sure. Um, and this is by Shaded Stitchery Nuri, who is an amazing pattern designer and often does things that are related to Black history. So if you haven't checked her out, I will definitely check her out. She also did the Data Portraits in Paris um, design that I really love. That's like representations of the first data that was ever presented on Black Americans at the World Fair in uh, 1900 in Paris. Um, it's actually behind me. I'm not going to pull it out right now. But she's doing a second one of those, and there's a stitch along starting next month. So I will be participating in that. So you'll definitely see that. Um, my next WIP is my first Mirabilia. Um, my only Mirabilia that I have started. But this is Tree of Hope by Mirabilia. I am not very far. Um, but this was a new start in 2025. I started it on August 14th, and I didn't work on it after August. So, um, yeah, it's on a 32 count summer khaki linen. Um, and it uses TNC, but also like these colors here is like a Karen water lilies. Um, and yeah, it's very pretty. Um, it's taking me a while because I like recharted some of it using Floss Cross. Um, and so I don't know how far I am into it. It says that I'm 6% into it, but I'm not sure if that is correct because I didn't chart the whole thing, so that might be only of the parts that I've charted. Um, but but yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I definitely understand the appeal. Next, we have Twilight Moon by Tiny Modernist. This was part of the XStitch the Rainbow um, series in 2025, which uses the same four colors for all the designs. I plan to put more on this fabric, which is coconut shell. It's a 36 count linen and coconut shell by Bestitch Me. Um, and I think it looks better in person on here, but I do feel like it's kind of like it's there's not very much contrast on this one. So the goal is to finish this one and then kind of decide what to do next. But I was thinking that I would put like 12 of them on this piece of fabric. I have lots of other patterns from the series. Um, so that's that one. It's 2/2 using the Threadworks pack that all of these are um, charted in. And I started it on March 28th, 2025. And I'm estimating I'm about 50% done with this one pattern. Um, that's really great. I was not that familiar with Tiny Modernist. I mean, I had seen a lot of her stuff, but I hadn't stitched a lot of her stuff. So, I'm enjoying that. Um, Next we have the Hoovian Stitch Along by the Kosher Stitcher. Um, this was on a 14 count. It's Out of This World printed Ada, and I'm continuing to fill it in. I purchased this thinking it was a stitch along for that year, but it ended up that it was already complete and it had been finished the previous year. So I definitely got away from it. Um, I am guessing that it's like more than 75% complete, but I'm not sure. Because again, like with Extraordinary Birds, I only put the stitch counts into my Notion once I add the next drop. So I'm working on, I think this one is August. And I did the bow tie and the book on this side, and then there's like a fez and a book on this side, and then I'll be done with that one and can move on to September. I think it was a year long stitch along, but again, like, the first month was the TARDIS, so that was a huge amount of stitches, but then like one of the other months was like just the scarf. Um, so I'm not sure quite how big the other um, pieces are. And the printed fabric is from Grandma B. Wilden on Etsy. Um, and I'm using DMC 2/2. I started that on February 17th, 2024. Um, and just trucking along. I now have a part of my Notion that shows me like where I am with different stitch alongs, so I'll be reminded that those are things I need to work on. Um, and then just a few more. Um, I have this is Winter Celebration Small from Hello by Liz Matthews. And this was another freebie. I think it might have been a freebie that was in her shop at the Jingle Ball in 2024, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was a freebie, but I'm not sure if I got it from her website or where. Um, but I started this one on October 12th of 2025. Again, it's part of my Ornament WIP Go. And I converted the threads just to different Fancy Floss and DMC that I had. So I think I might be about halfway done with the stitches. Again, the border is like really dense, but then the inside is not so dense. Um, and this is on a 36 count linen in frost by Be Stitch Me. Um, so with the threads, I tried to keep them close to the called for, but I really just went through my stash and picked colors that looked right. Um, so yeah, the last time I worked on this was also in October, so it must have been I worked on it for the WIP Go call and then I stopped. Um, and for this year's WIP Go, I'm including everything that wasn't finished last year, and then I'm including like some Halloween things and things that are like not Christmas. Um, but you'll probably see, unless I change the goals by then, in my 2026 goals, that my plan is never have more than 12 Christmas WIPs at once. That seems like a good number. 12 days of Christmas. Um, so um, because yeah, it was like a lot of finishes of ornaments, but also just like all I was stitching was ornaments sometimes. Um, so yeah. And I have some like bigger winter or Christmas pieces that I would like to start, but because I have all of these ornaments, I'm like, maybe I should finish some ornaments before I start any more Christmas things. Um, so yeah. Okay, so we're at W. This is Winter Face by Goffin Design on Etsy. This was one where I went through a period of time where I was just like downloading or purchasing and then downloading all of the like Four Seasons things. Um, but I still really like this one. It's just very fiddly and it has a lot of stitches. So I started this January 12th, 2024. So right after I came back to stitching. It's on the 14 count black Ada, so it's going to be huge. Um, and I am at about 11.6% complete. And if you see the swoop is the top of is the her bangs coming down onto her face. Um, so I really like this one, and I really like things on dark fabric. So hopefully, um, that'll be okay. Um, but so I don't know if I'll do the other 3 seasons. Is what I'm saying because it's just a lot of stitches, and I'm not sure I would have picked it. Um, and then the last thing, no, second to last thing in the alphabet is this winter pattern. This is a dimensions kit that my partner got me for Christmas last year, and I started this on winter solstice this year. Um, and I think I'm gonna make it into a pillow if I ever get there. Um, but yeah, it's just using the kit fabric and the kit floss, and um, yeah, 2/2. I mean, 2/1. Okay, and then last in the alphabet is Woolly Zipper by Bent Creek Designs. And this one is using all of the kit floss and fabric. It's kind of like a burlappy linen, and the floss is pearl cotton, so that's new. And I started it on June 22nd, 2024, and I'm about halfway done with the stitches. So there's that one. Okay, so I think that's all my WIPs for my 2020 start of 2026 WIP Parade. Um, look forward to in the future some videos that are more about goals or about my knitting or crochet or um, about temperature cross stitch organization. Looking forward to seeing you more in the new year. Bye.